I think that when people hear the word fire in the spiritual and magical realm, or just in general, we think of heat. Maybe we think of passion. Fire is also, it can be nurturing or it can be destructive. But there's also another part to fire, and that is how we experience energy. And that's what we're talking about today in terms of tarot. We know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast. Welcome to this episode of Expedition to Soul. I'm Sara, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and this is a replay episode. If you caught yesterday's episode, if you're listening in real time, this is a replay series for you that we pulled out of the archives. It is a few years old, and I want to apologize for the audio quality, but the episode today is about the wands in the minor arcana of tarot and understanding the wands as experience. Because with the suit of wands, we see a drastic change in energy. We see fun, opportunity, marriage in the beginning of the wands. And then by the end of the wands, things feel a little bit out of control, a little bit too much, and a little bit heavy. And I think that this really, gives us the opportunity to question the experience we're creating for ourselves, how we're experiencing energy. When does our connection to energy become, go from this is light and amazing to this is heavy and I don't know where I can even put it down or seek support in this, right? Like, where does that drastic change happen for us? Because it really does happen that fast in our lives. And so the episode today is really about wands as experience, and it's a episode we hear that people refer to again and again. So we wanted to bring it out of the archive. All right, go ahead and listen in. Welcome to this episode of the Magic on the Inside podcast. I'm Sara, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and I'm joined by
Anna, the co-founder of the Sisters Enchanted.
And we need to not sit in these creepy chairs for podcasting. They're so bad.
Well, if you were in the last podcast, you would know that we don't podcast responsibly.
Yes, it's our new thing. Never podcast responsibly.
So are we talking about wands today?
Wands, the suit of wands.
Some wands. So let's light some matches.
Let's do
some
that.
fire.
Warm me up. Okay, so we have been talking about tarot. Yesterday, you listened in on our episode about
Swords.
the swords. Today, we're talking about the suit of wands. Now, Anna and I were discussing this, and we seem to be not on the same page about my bullet points.
I was gonna say that we were scratch that. I thought you were going to say that we were not on the same page about the direction of this podcast, which I am all for you explaining it and then me having inspired things to say as you say it.
Yeah, okay. So, bullet point number 1. The wands is a suit of fire. And it's more of that masculine, solar, phallic imagery going on. Bullet point number 2, that when we're looking at these suits in terms of like being a personal growth tool and working with tarot more intentionally, we can look at the suit of wands as being sort of the energy, the experience that we're having, and what is coming to a situation. Now, wands is a suit of taking action. Here, we are looking at the heat, the energy that's being applied to a situation. So, for example, if you have the 2 of wands, the 3 of wands, it's like a lower heat. There's a lower heat happening there. And a low heat is a good heat. It can cook food. It can warm up water for you to have a nice warm bath, right? That is the energy that we're bringing to a situation. we start to get like a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10 heat, and that is hot. And when we end the 10 of Wands, that suit, it's the traditional imagery is a person carrying these wands, and they're just like, it's heavy, it's burdensome, and it's because we have burned ourselves out. That energy there is burnt. It's completely burnt. It was too hot for too long. You have burnt toast. You have burnt toast. Now you need to go get your sword and your perceptions in order to scrape the burnt part off the toast so as to not waste the piece of bread. Am I the only one who's ever done that?
I like burnt toast.
Okay, well, this is like burnt toast. And you got to get your swords and your perception straight to scrape off the burnedness because it was too hot. So the activity level, the energy brought to the situation was too hot. So if we're looking at the suit of wands in terms of personal growth, personal development, intentionally looking at it, we can look at this heat, this activeness. Like, where is it still good? Like, it's a great passion energy. And that's the early part of the wands. It's so, the 4 of Wands. It's just like marriage. It's a joyful time. Then we get to 5 and we have the conflict. But even the conflict in the Wands, when you look at the card, it's really hard to like, well, are we like in productive conflict or are we not in productive conflict?
Are we skirting around the conflict?
And then like the 6
Are we dancing?
Yep, the 6 of Wands, that can be like, another sort of celebratory kind of energy. But like, what happens when you stay trying to rise above,
right,
like everybody else?
On your high horse.
On your high horse, yeah. Like, you're in more danger. And then we get into the 7, the 8s, and it just goes faster, 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 and till you burn out. And that's what I meant about the energy that we bring to a situation with the Wands.
Okay.
When we're looking at it in this personal growth, intentional tarot sort of way.
Yes.
Okay, now your turn. What's your bullet point to add?
I didn't know I was going to be called upon for
Where
bullet
are your
points.
notes?
We go off your notes. There's never time for me to write notes. Should I start taking the notes and writing a rebuttal?
You want to rebut?
I don't want to rebut.
Rebut?
Rebuttal?
What's the right word?
Reboot.
I don't know. What do you want to add to my statements?
I want to add to your... Nothing. What was the word you used?
What fun is that?
You used a word.
I used a word. Let's see.
You did. You had a keyword. That will be my bullet point.
Experience.
See, now I feel like we're on the right podcast.
Your energy.
So what the swords was your
experience that you're having, your perception.
Your perception. So we're going to talk about the wands as your experience.
I like how I didn't use the one word that was actually on my bullets.
Which was the reason why you said that me and you weren't on the same page. Because Sarah was like, we're going to talk about the wands as the experience. And I was like, okay, but why?
Yeah, but it's like how you're experiencing. Like, are you on that still creative passion fire?
Right.
Or are we at the other end where we're burnt out and it's like the experience, it's too hot now. It's been too hot.
Well, I like it because the wands is that suit of like really getting things done. It's like putting pen to paper. And how you're... I know. Well, I'm feeling very opposite. Somehow you moved over.
Closer to Anna.
Somehow you moved.
When we get our podcasting set up to hashtag not podcast responsibly, we're each going to have our own mic, and it's going to be nice and right in front of our faces.
So we don't have to podcast like this?
Yeah, and we have a soundboard, so we can like...
I know. I was playing with this.
Okay, let's get back on this. And
then your experience.
Okay, wait. One more thing about the soundboard. We can... we can actually plug sounds into it, so those buttons, when we push them, they do things. Like, if we want to make a magic twinkle noise when one of us says something smart, we can make it go... Or if we want to make like a cackling witch noise, we can do that too.
I feel like that is not the right tool for either of us to have.
I don't think so either. Somebody else should be responsible for that.
It's like you guys are going to get a whole podcast about
me hitting buttons.
And it'll be like, can you tell what sound is Sarah and what sound is the soundboard? So it'll be like the cackle of the soundboard, and you'll be like, soundboard, soundboard.
But you know what? Really, though, it's going to take some time for us to get this all set up. Because we got to install the soundproofing stuff that we have here on the floor. We got to get the mics hooked up. I need to cover myself back up with my blankie that just fell down. I need my support blankie. My black velour support blankie. And we got to get the soundboard. We got twinkle lights to hang up. It's a whole thing. It's going to be a minute. Okay. So, don't hold your breath waiting for the improved audio quality. It's going to be a minute. Anyway, wands, experience. Go.
So yeah, because you need the wands to actually, 1, 2, 3, go. The wands are actually what's like putting your desires into motion. And so that is the suit where you are experiencing things in a physical way. Mm-hmm. You're experiencing your idea. You're experiencing the drive to work or your office. You're experiencing that day's motivations, barriers, conflicts, creativity, and trying to complete something. And sometimes doing that in a way where you have to keep an eye out for the last leg, or you do it in a way that you just get tired by the end. But yeah, it is your actual experiencing. Because swords, like we were saying, it's your perception, right? That's the word. Mm-hmm. And so that's very internal dialogue. Whereas wands is, like I said, it's putting pen to paper. It's the actionable steps. Mm-hmm. It's the action taking time.
Yeah. It's the action taking. And then again, I think, because we're going to talk about pentacles in another one.
Yes.
Which we're going to talk, which can be similar to action taking. So what I want to differentiate is that with swords, it's your action taking and the experience you're having with that. Is it a new, fresh, creative action, or have you reached like the point of burnout, or you're burning your own self out, or you're still in like a sustainable experience for yourself? And right. That can be too, and that can be in relationships. And that's where we have that marriage card. Those early ones, that's a sustainable passion.
Right.
But if you have a relationship that's very codependent, it's very hot and cold all the time, then now you've passed those fives. And now there's passion there, and there's action happening, but it's like the burnt out, slow your roll action. And your experience in that is very different than your experience in the beginning. So that experience of the wands.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like I'm stuck in like an 8/9. I feel like every day I wake up with a 3 of wands. Like every day I'm like, this is so good. It's the 3 of wands. And by 2 p.m., by like 11 a.m.
I don't know.
By 11 a.m. I'm straight up experiencing an 8 of wands. By 2 p.m. I'm the 9 of wands. And then I do it all again the next day.
I think you've got like an 8 of swords moment every day in between all those wands.
I do. Oh my gosh.
And
I know, so much shadow work to be done with the tarot and myself.
I know. Sarah was just telling me about her like end of day time was 1 o'clock today, which we've now exceeded. But I was so surprised because there have been many a times that Sarah's like, I have a hard stop at 1 today, but like we finished something at 11, and all of a sudden her bag's on her back. She's like, I'm done with the day, bye. And I'm like, wait, I thought you were staying till 1. And like, I just got here.
I know. Well, I've not been so great at working at night anymore, which means that I've been having to work later in the daytime, and I'm not excited about it.
You're doing great.
I know. That chair is killing me. It's literally all right. So.
I can't. Every move.
I know. It's just really squeaky.
I can't not. Look at it. I'm just trying to lean towards the mic, and it's doing it.
See how long you can not breathe for. Just kidding. Don't do that. All right. So yesterday, swords is perception. Today, wands is experience. The next 2 days, we're going to dive into cups and pentacles.
Cups and pentacles.
Cups and pentacles. Again, go back to like episode 13. If you want to walk through the whole tarot, we've got episodes on every specific card. The stories
we do.
The progression, the stories. It's good stuff.
It is.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Expedition to Soul. We love bringing out these like archive episodes for you because there is so much goodness in here. Do you know that we have had over 800,000 podcast downloads to date? We'd love to hit 1 million. as soon as possible. So if you could like and subscribe and share, leave us a review, all those things wherever you listen to podcasts, that would be amazingly helpful. That really helps us as a small business get the word out there about all that we do here at the Sisters Enchanted. We've got tons of resources around tarot. We've got resources around using tarot as a coaching skill. If any of that sounds like something you might be interested in, you can find us on social media in our DMs or in our email inbox, and just let us know. We'll help pair you with the resource that might help you right now. Thank you so much for listening in. Tomorrow we're dropping another one of these replay episodes. And until then, I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead. If you liked this episode of the Expedition to Soul podcast, please rate, review, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, it will really help us spread everyday magic, intention, and intuition to the masses and helps us so much as a small business. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. There are new episodes every Tuesday and astro forecasts for the week ahead every Friday. If there's any topics you'd want to hear, anything you want us to dive deeper into, shoot us an email at magic@thesistersenchanted.com. And as always, thank you so much for listening and being part of the community here at the Sisters Enchanted. And we'll see you in the next episode.